think the people that search it out are the people that are just wanting to graduate in their, their horror education. You start like for me, you start off watching, the Universal monster movies, and then you graduate to Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, and then you graduate to Fulci and Argento, and then you graduate to, Last House on the Left and Cannibal Holocaust and I Spit on Your Grave, and then you fucking go to August Underground.
What's going on, everybody? It's Ricky with Videohomicide, back with another movie review. Today we're going to be taking a look at Fred Vogel's August Underground 3, titled Penance, from 2007, respectively. This movie, compared to the first two August Underground films, is relatively tame in terms of the violence, I would say. There's some stuff that is really over the top in terms of gruesomeness, which we'll get into in a minute here, but I found, all of that downtime, initially while I was watching it, I was like, what the fuck is this? And you got, Peter and Krusty out in the woods, fucking around near the trains and messing around with some homeless guy, and just certain scenes like that, and them kind of driving around in the beginning of the film and stealing, some Black and Milds out of some guy's car. And, all that stuff, initially I was like, what am I watching? This isn't what I want to see. And then as I thought about the film after I watched it throughout the night, and the reason I didn't film the video last night is because I really wanted to literally sleep on it and think about, what I wanted to say with this video. But I think all of that downtime is needed because that really helps you normalize these characters. These characters seem like normal people, outside of the murderous rampages and gruesomeness. They're relatively just normal people that hang out with their friends. They drive around and fucking just happen to be homicidal, you know what I mean? But I think that with them shooting in I wouldn't necessarily call it high definition. It's 720p at best, but it looks good, but it kind of loses its luster to me a little bit just because of the archaic filmmaking style in the first two with that shitty camera. And it's sort of all over the place. And it's all over the place in this one, too. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed Penance. But after watching, MrParka's interview with Fred Vogel, I finished it yesterday, they seem to enjoy Penance the most. Whereas I think I enjoy Penance the least. Although I liked them in that order. I like 1, 2, and then 3. So I think Mortem is definitely the most graphic and obviously has the most intense visuals. But for me, the first one, I watched it at the best possible time I could have watched it, apparently, because I just fell in love with both characters, the cameraman and Peter Mountain. They were just phenomenal pair together. And I like Krusty, I like Maggot, but I was disappointed to see Maggot didn't return in the third one, but that's okay. We did get some really good kills in terms of we get some neck slit, that one. I think it was a woman. He slices that woman's neck, and then her blood goes into an old hard hat, from a construction zone. I thought that was hilarious. I just feel these people are so fucking I think they think everyone else, if someone's picking their nose walking down the street, they'd be like, oh, you're disgusting, you sick fuck, and Peter would almost start puking, but then at the same time he's also slicing people's throat. There's a part, probably the most graphic scene in this film, other than the Christmas party, which we'll get to in a minute, is there's a woman, I believe was Fred Vogel's actual wife. She was laying on a bed or whatever, and her stomach, her pregnant stomach, was ripped open. They were pulling the baby out of the stomach, which was obviously horrific. I had a fucking grin ear to ear watching it because I know, at the end of the day, we all know this is a special effect. It's fake. It's art. Relax, okay? There's more graphic stuff happening on fucking the internet that is real shit. You go on these fucking websites. I'm not on TikTok personally, but I'm on Instagram, and a lot of TikTok shit is bleeding over. And I watch a lot of these kind of compilations, cringe compilations and shit like that. From time to time I go through these spells where I just want to watch some fucked up stuff happen, but there's more fucked up stuff in a lot of those videos, especially if you watch these Karen videos, or these overprotective parents, or overproductive parents where they're making their kids fucking do 75 laps around the thing so they can get into a beauty pageant. Like, that is disgusting. Okay, what I've seen in August Underground is make believe. You know what I mean? So leave it at that. Take from that what you will. The world's a horrible place, and August Underground is not adding to any horrific stuff. They're just making a movie, you know? I really think that when you're talking about movies, and one thing my dad told me since I was a little kid, it was one of the reasons he let me watch all this fucking shit growing up. He said it's all make-believe, it's fake. But at the same time, he would fucking scare the shit out of me by saying he thinks that the war's going to start at any moment. You know, like my dad would get a few beers in him back in the day, and then he'd be like, yup. I'm like a fucking 6-year-old kid, and he's like, yup. I don't know, it's not looking too good. And I'd be like, what? And he'd be like, Iran, Iraq, and like name all these to me like scary words, like Iran, Iraq. What the fuck is that? I didn't even know what that was back then. I just knew it was something to do with war, you know. So I don't know, man. We'll have to leave that at that. I'm glad he showed me all this stuff because it made me realize that this is all make believe and fake. And like we went on to make our own films and stuff like that, where I've killed my dad many times on film, killed my brother many times on film. We watch it, we laugh, we have a good time. And that's what I do with August Underground films. I just watch them and I go, holy fuck, this is crazy. I will admit, the first time, on first watch of the first August Underground, I was like, whoa, this is hardcore. And like I mentioned in the first video of the trilogy, that like my uncle said he could only get like 10 minutes into it and then he was going to throw it out. Like, are you fucking insane, man? It's a signed copy, for fuck's sake. Do you know how expensive it is to get these August Underground films, like physical copies, like legit physical copies? Go on eBay right now, look it up. You're gonna spend like $250 on a fucking DVD. Like, no, thank you, man. I think that's bullshit. I understand what Fred Vogel's doing, but he doesn't want everyone to own it. He wants it to be like sort of this exclusive club kind of thing, and I appreciate that. But at the same time, And I guess you kind of got to blame the scalpers and shit too, because every time they put out a release, and it's not just August Underground, but like all kinds of films, like sort of rare cult films and shit like that, they'll get like 1,000 copies, and then some prick will buy like 20 of them, and then he puts them on eBay immediately, you know, and everyone's like, oh, you got to respect the hustle. It's like, no, fuck their hustle, okay? Because if they're fucking little clown, I almost said a very bad word there, but, you know, like, fuck their hustle. If their hustle means I don't get to watch a movie, or I get to read a comic, or buy a fucking art print, or whatever it is, then fuck them. Let them drown in their own fucking piss, because I can respect them putting out, I think there was like the trilogy Blu-ray just came out, I guess a couple of years ago, and it's nowhere to be found. You go on eBay, you're paying out the ass. There's a copy of one of the August Underground videos on there for like over $800. Are you serious? And like, that's what Fred Vogel says in that MrParka's interview. He's like, you know, he's like, these, the, whatever it was, I think it was the final interview, which I'm stoked to watch. I think he said he put out like a three disc edition of that, signed, all that bullshit, came with exclusive, you know, stuff in it, like all sorts of freebies and shit like that. And it was going for $50. People didn't want to pay $50, and now you got to pay fucking $800 for it, you know? And that's the thing, like, you kind of, that stupid fucking phrase, that FOMO, fear of missing out, which I think is gay as fuck, but it's kind of a true thing, because, for instance, the Red Room comics, those, like, or excuse me, not the Red Room comics, but, like, just comics on that caliber of, like, a Red Room comic, where you know it's going to get, you know, it's going to sell out quick, because it's not like being produced in the hundreds, thousands, you know. And that's weird to quickly bring up comics. Like Fred Vogel mentioned in this interview that he wanted to, he was thinking about having a comic made. And I think that would be fantastic. And Dave, he was like, would you do it POV, like through the camera, or just, you know, sort of a standard comic? And he says, a bit of both. Like, I want this shit to happen. I want Fred Vogel, I want all of his stuff that he wants to get made, because he's clearly a genuine dude. I think he's a great artist, you know, great film director. It's cool to see sort of the behind the scenes videos and stuff like that of these movies, because like in the movie specifically, that one woman that gets her stomach cut open and then like fucking maggot fuck her guts. Like when she's laying there like that, like she looks dead. And then to see the special effects where she's just like laying there, looks dead, and then just like cracks a smile. It's like, that's what it's all about, man. That's what it's all about. Look at the fun they had making these movies. You know, it must have been such a good time. Stressful, but very fun. Now, I want to quickly talk about what I would consider the most brutal scene of this movie. Still not the most brutal out of the trilogy, but I would still say this scene is pretty fucked up. Basically, Peter and Krusty, they go to this house where there's... at first, when I was watching, I thought they were going back to the house that they were partying at. They were like doing blow and like, you know, just hanging out with all like this house party. And then there's like a scene where they feed a fucking rat to an alligator, like a little baby alligator. And I was thinking about that. Won't that alligator like get like to obscene proportions in size, like eventually? Or maybe it's like a fish thing where like, you know, it's only going to get as big as it can in that particular environment. But anyways, I thought that's the house they were going to rob or home invade. They go to this family, man, wife, daughter, where upon opening the door, Peter hits the father with a fucking hammer, and then the wife just gets totally like brutalized and you know, fucked around with basically. And then the Peter like can't like get a hard on to like fuck this girl, and it's like, oh, poor guy, he can't get a boner to like rape this woman. It's like what a shame, you know. But the scene that's really the kicker is when the daughter comes downstairs, which is clearly played by like someone that's not a young child. It's definitely like an adult, and gets strangled, like is getting strangled and beat and all this stuff. And like then they start to make her open the Christmas presents, which is fucking, it's like your mother is like laying there dying, your dad's out in the kitchen dying, open your Christmas presents, and it's like on Christmas Eve to boot. So, and like there's that really shocking scene where like, or not shocking, but like to me fucking out of control, where they're both like taking a selfie in front of this family's Christmas tree while they're all like dead around them. It's fucking nuts. Very nuts. And then Peter's like, fuck this, I'm having a shower. And then he like locks the door, and she's like, what are you doing? I'm locking the door, I'm having a shower. Don't wait for me, or some shit. It's, man, I had a lot of fun with this flick, man. I do think the pregnant baby thing coming out was probably the most gruesome thing in the film. Like there's an arm getting cut off, which looked phenomenal. There's that scene with the guts where like you can hear like the air, like this like weird like leakage, like air leakage thing happening. It's fucking gross looking, man. And like that girl even said it. She's like, oh, I love the color of these things. And he's like, oh, you can see what he fucking ain't. You know, these characters, man, they're interesting as fuck to me. And I can only, you know, hope to expect even more insane, crazy shit. Like, I still got Red Sin Tower, Murder Collection, Maskhead, Celatorica, and Final Interview. I'm going to watch them in order, too, because I want to see them, Fred Vogel's work as it progresses through time, because I think he's an interesting guy, and I like his movies. I want to support him. If I could buy them, I'd buy them. Most of them. The August Underground films are basically a write-off. There's no way I'll ever own Mortem. I'll never own Penance because I'm not paying hundreds of dollars for them. There is a website called F'd Up Movies where you can watch these movies for free, along with tons of other stuff. But yeah, so Red Sin Tower is next on the list. And don't be surprised if you see a review coming for that sooner than later. Although I think I need to kind of cleanse my palate in terms of my cinematic viewing for, you know, at least for a night or two, watch something a little more calm. You know, I've been wanting to watch some more martial arts flicks, Asian flicks, not necessarily martial arts flicks, but just like crime flicks, gangster pictures and stuff like that. I love that stuff. You know, I really want to revisit some of the stuff that I watched a lot when I was a kid. You know, I want to rewatch all the Universal flicks that I liked, like, which is only like 4 or 5. You know, there's like 30 Universal monster pictures, but honestly, I can, like, Dracula, The Mummy, Wolfman, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, that's basically all I need. And Old Dark House, if you consider that a Universal monster film, I believe it's considered a monster film. That's a great one too. So, I hope everybody enjoyed my my opinions and thoughts on the August Underground trilogy. It has come to an end. Enjoyed it. If you're not, you know, if you don't like, if you can't watch Cannibal Holocaust because there's a little bit of fucking, you know, a little poor little turtle gets fucking killed, then you're not going to be able to watch this, because this shit is like hardcore. It's hardcore, man, and that's the only way I can describe it. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody for watching. Make sure you leave a 666 in the comments. And with that being said, fuck her guts. Fuck her guts.